guys, Tyandaga here, and welcome to the 20,000 subscriber Q&A special. It's actually kind of funny because now it's almost at 30,000, so this is insane, and I just have to thank you guys for everything. Seriously, all the times you guys are liking my videos, subscribing, commenting, or even just watching. Thank you so much for everything. Seriously guys, I could not do this without you guys. And it's just so motivating to know that so many of you support what I do on a consistent basis. It really does mean the world to me, and this is real talk. Thank you so much. There's no words that can really describe how appreciative I am to you guys, so thank you so much. So either way, this is the 20,000 subscriber Q&A special. So today we're going to be answering some questions. That's right, I asked you about 2 weeks ago to submit any questions you would like to know about me, and this could be about anything. It could be from real life stuff to about the show, anything you would like to ask. And my god, you guys gave me a lot of questions, almost 1,000. That's a lot of questions. So obviously I could not answer every single question. I wish I could. I wish I had all the time in the world to answer all of your questions, but I couldn't. There are just too many, and I would be sitting here forever. I would probably die of old age, and I don't want to die of old age because then I couldn't make videos. So either way, I'm gonna try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Now, of course, you guys were pretty good at asking some really awesome questions, and a lot of you asked a lot of the same awesome questions. So what I tried to do is I tried to take all of those same questions or similar questions and merge them into one big, really good question. That way it kind of encompasses the entire question that a lot of you guys are asking, but maybe in slightly different ways, and that way we can get through a lot more questions, a lot more quickly, and a lot more efficiently. So I do appreciate once again for you guys to actually have sent in those awesome questions, a lot of really good ones, and I do apologize if I don't get to your question. Now, if I don't get to your question after the whole video, you've seen through it and you realize, hey, Ty, you never answered my question, please let me know in the comment section below and I will try to answer it personally in text. That way at least you guys get an answer, and if you want to know some more bit about me, please feel free to ask any more questions and I'll try to get to you guys in the comment section down below. And before we get into the video, I just want to set aside some time to really show my thanks and appreciation to one of the key reasons why this channel has been a little bit more successful than it really does deserve to be. So in case you haven't noticed, I don't actually really make many of the thumbnail arts for my videos on my channel anymore. I know I used to way back in the day, but nowadays I've got someone doing that for me, and his name is Krofty Fennec. So please go down in the links in the description. I will show you, they're right there. Just like go down and get them. You can click on them. And if you go there, you'll see this guy's fantastic artwork. So go, please show him some support, show him some love, just show him your appreciation. This guy is a fantastic artist. So please just go to those links, check him out. That would absolutely make my day. Okay, so now that we have the introduction and the awkward green screening out of the way, we can finally begin this 20K Q&A. So just for those of you who are wondering, the game in the background is called Rocket League. I absolutely recommend it. It is one heck of a fun game to play, so do pick it up if you get the chance. But anyways, the first question on the list that we have today is, how old are you? So this is actually a question that I get a lot, but it's a pretty simple answer. I am 19 years of age. And the second question is, why did you choose a deer to represent you? So this is another one that I get quite a bit, and I have answered it in actually another video altogether, as well as the last question and answer video. However, I'm going to answer it here once again because it does crop up a lot, and I just want to get it out of the way. So I chose a deer pretty much just to stand out, to give myself something that was a little bit different in the community that didn't really exist at the time that I started making videos. Obviously, when you're a YouTuber, you want to stand out. It's absolutely crucial if you want to be successful. You've got to do something unique. And while maybe your OC isn't always the biggest part of that, it does help in some small way. And of course, because I wanted to do something different, I couldn't really go with the typical pony type thing. So I wanted to do a completely different animal altogether. Now, of course, I also wanted it to be somewhat specific to my country. And in Canada, we don't really have a lot of horses. We don't have a lot of things like that going on, but we do have deer. We have a lot of them actually. So I decided to go with a deer or reindeer. That way I would stand stand out a little bit and do something that was closer to home. Okay, and the third question is a little bit of a two-parter actually. So the first part is, what is your real name? And second of all is, where do you live? So my real name is actually Rob or Robert. It depends what you really want to call me and how close you are to me. I think closer friends call me Rob. Some people call me Robert too. It really just depends. I don't care either way. Both are completely acceptable. And as for where I live in Ontario, Canada. That's about as close as I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna give you like specific coordinates or something because that would be just a little bit weird. I don't think that's gonna help anybody. So I live in Ontario, Canada, if that helps. Okay, so the next question is, what do you use to make your videos and what do you use for making artwork? So this is a bit of a two-parter, so I'm gonna start off with the videos first. So when it comes to videos, for editing, I use Sony Vegas Pro 12. Now this is an absolutely phenomenal software, and for what it's worth, it does a whole lot of different things, and it will give you all the features that you pretty much will ever need for some of the more basic things when it comes to video making. So for me, I use it for every one of my videos, and it works great. It doesn't crash a lot either, so it's just really good program to use. As for actually recording my voice, because obviously I need to record my voice for my videos, I use Audacity. Now Audacity is absolutely free. You don't have to pay a cent for it, so you can download it and use it for yourself. It's great. It's an awesome software, and I always totally recommend it. Obviously because it's free, but also because it's just really good and it does everything you'd ever need it to do. Now, when it comes to artwork, I obviously have to use a few different things. So when it comes to actually drawing digitally, I have to use a pen tablet. So for the pen tablet, or like the Wacom pen tablet, that's what I use. I use the Wacom Intuos tablet. It was pretty much the cheapest tablet that I could actually get my hands on. Of course, when I bought it, I didn't want to pay too much for it because I didn't know if I even wanted to do artwork. So I decided to get it, and it's worked absolutely flawlessly for me. So I say, if you're new to making artwork and you want to start getting into digital stuff, I say get a cheap tablet at least for the start. And if you don't like it, well, at least you didn't pay too much. But if you do, then you maybe later on, when the tablet breaks down or you want to get a new tablet, get something better. But cheap tablets will do just everything that you need. As for the software, I will use Photoshop and Paint Tool SAI to actually make my pictures. Now I use Paint Tool SAI for more of the line work and the sketching, but I'll use Photoshop for the coloring and the shading effects and the special effects that I add later on in the drawing. Okay, so the next question, and this is an absolutely fantastic question. What is your favorite part of the community? So obviously I wouldn't be in this community if I didn't like it or there were things that were wrong with it, like a lot of things that were wrong with it. I obviously like a lot of different parts about it, so this is a bit of a hard one for me. However, I think the best part about this community is how sort of talkative and open the community is. In a lot of other communities, it's hard to sort of talk and speak and chat with other people, especially like the YouTubers and the people who are making content, the artists, the voice actors, this, that, and everything else, right? Those kind of guys are always very hard to talk to because I think in other communities, it's a lot more competitive. Like everyone wants to get subscribers and everyone wants to be the best of the best. And a part of that is everyone kind of sticks to themselves and fends for themselves. In this community, everybody helps everybody out. I mean, obviously with a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, that's what I've found. And that's absolutely awesome. I can talk with hundreds upon hundreds of awesome other YouTubers and artists and voice actors and tons of these awesome, really cool content creators and those people that are part of the community on a daily basis. And it's not like I'm intruding on them or whatnot. It's just a lot of fun, and I love that. I love how everyone's sort of together and we're all in this together, and it's a really great feeling. It's such a good feeling to be in this community. Okay, and so for the next question, and this kind of ties in back to the last question, and it asks, do you have any regrets? Now, obviously I said in the last question that one of the things that I enjoyed the most about this community was the fact that I can talk with so many awesome people. Now, of course, my biggest regret with this community is that I haven't really talked to that many people, or at least talked to many people often as I should be. I think for me, I hate messaging other people, especially if they're like on Skype and they're busy or something, or just messaging them out of the blue. I'm very bad at that, and I always feel like I'm going to intrude on their personal space, or I'm taking up their time. And of course, everyone, especially the content creators, they're very busy people, all right? They're making videos, they're doing all these really cool things, and of course that takes time, and they don't always have time to speak with people like me. So it's always nice when I do get a chance. However, I oftentimes just don't take that chance to sort of get out of my shell and finally say, hey, how's it going? And start conversations with people that I usually normally don't start conversations with. So I'd have to say, out of all of the things that I could regret, and I mean there are a lot, goodness, I think that's probably the biggest regret, just not talking with people as much as I really should be and I really want to. Okay, so the next question, and this was actually one that really did catch my eye when I saw it, and it's one of those questions that you don't really get too often, but I think it's something that a lot of people are thinking. So this question asks, how do you sound so positive or uplifting or loud? Is it a trait you have, or do you act it? Is this just all a play? Do you just put it on for the camera? Like, what's going on with that? So when it comes to video making, and I think a lot of video makers, especially in gaming, they'll tell you the same thing. They have what's called, at least what I like to call a switch. So as soon as that red light for recording starts, you get louder, you get more sort of entertaining. And of course, when you're on camera and you're recording, you want to be more entertaining. So when I'm talking normally, I don't actually sound like this. I sound just more quieter, and of course I'm a lot more chill. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'm not as loud. I'm not as sort of yelling into the microphone, because that's just really weird. And I think you would just throw your voice really quickly, like after the first hour of the day. You know, that wouldn't be fun, right? So yeah, I do put it on a little bit for the recording. However, of course, what I say and what I do in my videos, that's all me. It's not like it's a fake or anything, but I think when it comes to actually recording my voice, yeah, I do go a little bit louder. I do try to be more entertaining, more enthusiastic, and I think hopefully is more entertaining for you guys at the same time. Okay, so the next question is a bit more of a fun one, and it asks, do you like video games? So obviously you can see in the background, I'm playing a video game. I absolutely love video games. I would say I probably spend more time in the day playing video games than anything else. And I know that's sad, but video games are great. It's like you get to live a movie. It's awesome. As far as favorite video games, because I'm guessing this is sort of like a question that a lot of you will be thinking. So what are my favorite video games? I absolutely love Skyrim, games like that. So like Fallout, Skyrim, those are really good games. Bethesda makes some fantastic games, and I'm actually going through some of the older ones to try to just play through those and see what those were like, because obviously I'm not too old, so I wasn't really around to see some of the older games. So I'm going through those. As far as other games, I do like sports games, so like NBA 2K, I love that, play the heck out of it. Some other sports games like hockey, baseball, although I have more of the older ones, none of the newer ones. And just for the most part, whatever games I can pick up on Steam for pretty cheap. Okay, so this next question is one that I actually get quite a bit. Did you ever take an animation or art class? So I'm just gonna say it, not really, no. I mean, I did take art class like way back in like the earliest grades of high school, but it was pretty much just because you had to. You kind of had to pick between art or drama, and of course I was terrible at drama, so I picked art. But I never really took to art class. In fact, I hated it. I didn't like it. It wasn't fun. So I never really took to art growing up, especially growing up. I hated art class. Like even through elementary school, it was always boring and unfun, and I hated it. It was only really about maybe a year and a half ago when I really started this channel that I actually started doing art again. And of course, when it came to this channel, I kind of needed to have some sort of artistic ability. So I decided that this would be a perfect avenue for me to actually improve in that area. And I took to it just absolutely beautifully, I think. And I just loved it. It was so much fun. I'm like, wow, this is art. I love it. It's great. And I just kept making art, and I improved to this day. As far as animation classes, I don't actually really do animation. And I know some people kind of get confused. It's like, well, how come all these things are moving in your videos? It's like, yeah, those are technically moving, but it's just very simple keyframing. I might do a tutorial on how I do some of my animation, or I say animation, how I do some of my editing techniques later on, but you'll see that they're actually extremely easy to do, and they're very simple. So I don't know anything about animation. I've never done animation, and I don't know if I ever will do animation. So yeah, I don't know anything about animation. Don't ask me that. And another question that I get way too often, although I do take it as a compliment, but I do also get this way too often. Would you be up to doing art trades with some people by any chance? So for those of you who don't know what an art trade or an art collab is, an art trade essentially is just two artists get together, or maybe more, but usually it's two artists get together and one person draws the other artist's character and vice versa. And then you trade each other's pieces at the end, and it's kind of like a free commission, although you have to make art for the other person. So it's kind of nice, it's kind of fun, and I will say they are actually quite fun. And an art collab is pretty much where two artists get together and they draw one thing. So someone might do the coloring while the other person does the line work, you know, things like that. Now, I think this question is specifically for art trades because this is what I get asked a lot. Now, I get asked a lot to do art trades all the time, and it's actually happened a lot more recently. I think my art's improved to a point where people are like, hey, I want to have some of your artwork. I want you to make like a character of mine. Right now, I don't open commissions, and because I don't have commissions open, it's probably a good indicator that I don't also have art trades open as well. Mostly, it's just a time thing. Art trades do take a long time. I mean, whenever you make art, of course, it takes a long time to make, and I'm a very slow artist, all right? So for me to do art trades, that's a lot of time for me to spend, and I just don't always have that time to spend. And of course, when it comes to art trades, I also want to be doing it with people that I actually know, that I'm friends with, and I talk with on a consistent basis. That's not to say like I'm not willing to do art trades with people I don't always know, but at the same time, I'm just not always open for art trades. So like if you want to do an art trade with me, of course, always ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, but just don't expect a yes. I remember one person actually got really mad at me for saying no because I just didn't have the time. They thought it was like a really bad excuse, and it was kind of awkward. And needless to say, if I say like I'm busy or I don't have the time, it's because I don't have the time. So yeah, I just don't have art trades open right now, but you know, always ask. It's always good to ask. And the next question is a very popular question. How can I do a collaboration with you? And do you have collaborations open? So I'm just gonna start off by saying that yes, I do usually have collaborations open. I'm always willing to hear in and listen to new project ideas and to take on some new project ideas. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit picky. I get it a lot where people will ask me, hey, Ty, can you do a collaboration with me? You wanna make a video with me? Things like that. And of course, I'm always willing to listen in and say, hey, sure, yeah, let me know what you want to do. Of course, a lot of times though, what ends up happening, there's a few things that I have, kind of like a criteria. Now, obviously I said I'm pretty picky. I'm picky when it comes to collaborations and people I collaborate with. I want to have a certain quality of video, and if these people maybe don't live up to it, I can't always say yes. Of course, the biggest thing for me is you have to have a channel. Now, I know this sounds crazy, right? Like, why would you ask for a collaboration if you don't even have a channel? I get this a lot. People will ask me, hey, Ty, you want to do a video together? Sure. Do you have a channel? No. Wait, what? Why do you want to do a video with me then? You've never done videos yourself. Obviously, if you're gonna ask someone for a collaboration, make sure you have some videos to back up your own quality first. Show the person that you want to collaborate with that yes, I too can make videos. And no, I'm not gonna be a hindrance. I'm not gonna hold you back from making the best video possible. It's very hard when someone asks me, hey Ty, let's do a video together. And I look and I see they haven't done anything because I don't know what they're like. I don't know what they sound like. I don't know if they have a good microphone. I don't know if they would be a good fit for me and my channel. I just don't know. So have some videos, have a channel, start making videos yourself, and just see if that's something that you enjoy. Now, obviously, if you have a channel, and most people do whenever they ask, so I'm gonna move on to the next bit, is have a good microphone. Now, I'm not saying you need like the most expensive microphone possible, but it should be a pretty good microphone, and it shouldn't be too crackly, or there shouldn't be too much background noise and feedback. It should be just solid. I should be able to clearly hear what you have to say, and it shouldn't feel like our microphones are too different, because if you have two people with two different microphones in the same video, it sounds really jarring and it's hard to listen to because it sounds so different. And the third thing, I think this is probably the most important thing, have an idea that you want to pitch to me. A lot of people come to me saying, hey, you want to do collaboration? I'll say, sure, let's do it. What do you have in mind? And they'll say, I don't know. Wait, so you're coming to me asking for a collaboration, but you don't know what you want to do? Make sure you have an idea. Please, please, please have an idea as to what you want to do for your collaboration. I have tons of ideas myself. Don't get me wrong, I've got plenty of ideas. But if you come to me saying you don't have an idea, I'm gonna do my own ideas on my own because I've got sort of what I have in mind in my head. But if you come to me with a good idea, say, hey, Ty, I've got this great idea for a video, let's do it. I'll usually, almost always will say, sure. But another big kicker that a lot of people do, and this is one that really grinds my gears a little bit. I know I'm ranting, I rant. I love to take this opportunity to rant, but this is a big one. People will suggest ideas for a video and to collaborate with, but then they'll want it on my channel. If you're gonna suggest a video, make sure it's on your channel. all right? Because it's your idea and it's not my idea. So you've got the sort of the idea in your head. It's your vision, your dream, and your vision, of course, to make this video. You've got it in your head. I don't. I'm just listening to this. I'm just on the table saying, sure, I think it sounds good. So make sure that it's going to be on your channel. This is huge. Now, of course, this isn't always the case. I've had people come to me saying, hey, Ty, we should do a video on this. And of course, it's just natural that it might go on my channel. And that's fine. Of course, it depends on the situation. For the most part, if you're going to suggest a collaboration to somebody else, put it on your own channel. That's just a big thing for me. Of course, if you want to do a collaboration with me, make sure to ask me via sending a private message in my about section. So if you go on my channel to the about section, there's a little button at the bottom that says send message. And if you click on that, you can send a private message to me. Just send me a message there, pitch your idea, whatever you want to talk about, I'll listen. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna listen. Now, don't always expect me to say yes, but at the same time, I'm willing to look at any ideas possible. I'm always open for collaborations. Okay, so the next question is, and this one actually ties in very well to the last question, what is your absolute favorite collaboration you've done with another YouTuber? So I've obviously done tons and tons of collaborations in such a short amount of time. About 1.5 years, I've done tons of collaborations, and that's awesome. They're always really fun, awesome experiences, and I relish every single opportunity to jump into another collaboration. However, if I had to pick a favorite, I would probably have to pick the one that I did with Dr. Wolf on Backstories. Now, Dr. Wolf is one of the main inspirations for my channel. He's one of the guys that I started watching before I even started making videos. And I'm like, wow, I want to do stuff just like him. I want to do videos just like he does. Of course, not in the same way, but I want to make videos for this community like him. That's awesome. So when I asked him and I sort of pitched the idea to him and he said yes, I'm like, oh, I was so happy, I was excited. I was a little nervous at the same time, but I was just more so excited and I was full of adrenaline and energy. It was awesome. Of course, I think I might have overdid it a little bit. I tried to overcompensate because of it, I think. I tried to do too much in the editing. I tried to do a lot in the scripting. I tried to sort of make sure that I did like the big brunt of the work, and I think that might have taken away from it. But at the same time, I absolutely enjoyed it, and I think I learned a lot from that collaboration. You know, that Dr. Wolf guy, he's pretty smart. He's a really smart person, and of course, he's been doing this for a lot longer than I have. So it was really nice just to learn all of these little tips and tricks that maybe, of course, I don't have yet because I don't have the experience, but he certainly does. And some of the things that I learned from scripting with him and making a video with him, I actually still use to this day. So that was probably my favorite collaboration. And of course, I'm looking forward to many more awesome collaborations in the future. Okay, so the next question is, who in this community inspired you to start your channel? So this is an excellent question, and I think as far as people that really inspired me, obviously Dr. Wolf is one of them. I know I mentioned earlier in the collaboration question that yeah, he's one of my main inspirations. He's probably not my top though, and probably just because I didn't know about him until a little bit later on. However, I think my main inspirations are easily Silverquill, Mad Munchkin, and KP. Of course, those three are my main ones. I think with Mad Munchkin being the absolute top, she's probably the one that inspired me to really finally say, you know what, let's start this channel, let's do something with these videos. So I'd say she's probably the main inspiration, followed by Silverquill. Absolutely love his videos. His videos are probably the other main reason why I've done videos myself. And of course, KP, I love the comedy. I just like the style as well. It's a lot more towards my own editing style, so that's where I take some of the inspiration from as well. However, I also like the comedy. Her videos are fun, they're entertaining, they're enjoyable. I think that's so important these days, just to have entertaining videos, so I also take a bit from that as well. Alright, so the next question is, do you live stream, and where do you live stream if you do? So I do in fact live stream, however, I do not live stream on YouTube. I found that with YouTube, first of all, there's usually too many people, so when it comes to the comments, it's kind of hard to see them, so it gets overwhelming, things happen too fast, and it's pretty much just me talking to you guys without you guys really talking to me back, and I like this sort of discussion back and forth that I sometimes have with live streams. However, I do usually live stream on Picardo TV. So there will be a link in the description of this video that you can click and you can go to my channel. That way you can see when I do live streams and stuff. I try to do live streams every so often, and usually when I do live stream, it's artwork. So if you're maybe not into that sort of thing, it might not be for you. However, most people say that they go to live streams for the commentary, so maybe there's that. But I do try to live stream fairly regularly. So be sure to take a look at my Facebook and DeviantArt pages as well, just to make sure that you keep up to date on when I'm live streaming. So for example, I might post on on Facebook very early on, like maybe a couple days in advance, hey, I'm live streaming on this day at this time. And on DeviantArt, I'll give you a notification whenever I start live streaming. So be sure to follow me on those websites. That way you know exactly when I'm live streaming. And of course, I do recommend to show up for one. They're always a lot of fun. I absolutely enjoy them. They're an absolute blast. So please do come to at least one of them, just to see what it's like. Okay, and another good question here is, do you have a backstory for your character, or are you gonna make one if you don't? Now, just to point it out and make this very clear, I don't have a backstory for my character. He's just a representation of me, and that's just all he's ever gonna be. So yeah, I'm not gonna ever make a backstory. It's not that I don't really want to, a lot of it just comes down to time, and I just don't really have any great ideas for it either. I know I did a whole video on backstory, but it's just, I don't need a backstory for my character. It's never really gonna come in handy, and it really would be just for me. So I just never got around to making it. Okay, so the next question, and this is an absolutely excellent question. Any tips for beginners? And this is, I think, towards more for the YouTube side of things, so I guess that's what I'm gonna go for. Okay, so obviously I have plenty of awesome tips for beginner YouTubers. I've been doing this for quite a while now, so I know a thing or two about making a YouTube channel and what it takes to be successful. Of course, I think the best idea though is to make unique and interesting videos. Now, okay, that might sound really stupid, right? Of course, make interesting and unique videos, different things that other people are not making. Yeah, of course, it's obvious to make those. But what I mean, and especially for this community, and take this as an example, for this community specifically, a lot of people, and I mean the vast majority of almost everybody, what they do for their videos is they have their character on one side of the screen, a video or a picture on the other side of the screen, and their character is explaining what's going on with that picture or video. And that's it. That's all they do for their videos. And in my opinion, it's a nice way of sort of presenting a topic. It works. We've been obviously taught this. This is how schools work, with a teacher and the chalkboard in front of the class. This is how we're taught to learn. And it's a good style. It works. You know, it's fine. But everybody does it. It's pretty much what everybody does in the community. So especially when I joined and I looked around and I said, wow, everybody's doing this and I think it works, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I looked at this channel called Game Theory, absolutely popular channel, millions of subscribers. Why is it so special? Why is it so good? Part of the reason is because of how they edit their videos. It's very fast paced, it's quick. There's images that help describe what's going on. So if you're a visual learner like me, you get a better understanding of what the person's actually saying. So try something different, try something new. Don't just do what everybody else does, because you're just gonna get lost in the crowd. And you really wanna make sure you do something special, something that people will come back for over and over. And of course, if you present your videos in a different way than everybody else, that's just more of a reason for people to come back to your videos rather than anybody else's. Alright, so the next question is, do you like fan art? And how can I send fan art to you if I do have some? So obviously, I absolutely love fan art. It's one of the best parts about doing YouTube. Some of you guys are very talented artists and you decide that one day, hey, I want to make some art for this guy, and sometimes that's me. So like, honestly, it's incredible. It always makes me just light up with a big goofy smile. So if you want to put a big goofy smile on my face, make me some fan art. That is the surest way to do it. As far as if you have fan art and you want to send it to me, the best way to do that is usually through DeviantArt or Facebook, or if maybe on YouTube as well. If you just sort of send me a private message through the About section, say, hey Ty, I've got this image that I made, just let me know. Of course, if it's something like a little more different, if it's not like digital art or it's like on a sketchbook or something, usually what a lot of people do is they just take a picture and then upload that online. Some people have, I've seen little like clay models and stuff, which are always really cool. What you do obviously is take a picture. So like if you have something more physical and you want me to see it, please just take a picture, try to send it to me through Facebook or DeviantArt or YouTube or wherever you can get a hold of me, and I'll look at it. And I usually like to post these on Facebook and share it around and say, hey, look at what this awesome person made. It's always awesome to get fan art. So if you have fan art, please always send it my way. If you're comfortable with that, of course, I always love to see it. Okay, so a bit of a smaller question here. Are you left-handed or right-handed? So I'm actually right-handed. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so here's a bit of a more serious question. How long does it take you to make your videos? And to answer that, I kind of have to say, it depends. I don't know. Some videos take longer than others. Obviously, for something like a Q&A, let's say, it's just me sitting down recording what I think on these certain questions. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. As far as the editing goes, it doesn't take too long. when it comes to a more typical video, like, you know, how to make a certain OC or this and that, the kind of stuff that I usually put up on my channel, it takes, let me just be honest, it takes quite a while. I don't really have a specific time because some videos just take longer than others and I get lazier, or I get more sort of better with the editing. I don't take too many shortcuts sometimes. It really depends. I would say though, as far as total time spent per average on videos, I would probably have to say I spend at least 10 hours editing each video. And that's, I mean, like solid editing. That's not just like with breaks, that's like solid editing. If I had 10 hours in the day, I probably could get through a video no problem. Some obviously take a little longer, some are shorter. It just depends on, maybe is it a collaboration, am I by myself, or how long the video actually is and whether the topic really got us talking or not. So it really does depend. However, I would say I put it at about 10 hours of editing per video. Okay, so here's a pretty good question. So when you started YouTube, did you think you were ever going to reach 20,000 subscribers? Honestly, I thought that, yeah, I probably could. Obviously, it would take a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, but I felt that certainly it was well within my reach. Of course, I also felt that it would take a lot longer to do, easily twice as long, probably a lot more. The one thing about this community is that it's obviously a little bit of a smaller community. I used to do Minecraft videos and that's a massive community, millions upon millions. This community is much smaller, so it's much harder to gain an audience. So when you do gain a large audience in this community, that really does mean a lot. So to hit something like 20,000, that's a lot of people. So yeah, was it doable? Sure. Was I gonna get it in a long time? Yeah, probably would have taken forever. So it certainly happened a lot quicker than I thought it would. And in fact, now it's almost at 30,000, so that's even better. And it's just going up from here. So I really do appreciate you guys for subscribing and to taking a liking to my videos. It really does mean a lot to me. So thank you for all of you for that. All right, and the next question is, and it certainly ties into the last one, do you feel famous? Absolutely not. Seriously, it doesn't feel very different since I started making videos. I don't feel like I've changed at all. I don't feel like anything's really all that different. I mean, sure, what does it mean now? Well, it just means that more people end up watching the videos that I put up. So instead of expecting like 10 views per video, now I expect like thousands. So it does change that in a sense, but at the same time, to me, those are just kind of numbers, you know? It doesn't really change too much for me. So do I feel famous? Absolutely not. And I don't think it's something that I would want to feel anyways. I want to feel like, you know, I could speak with anybody and I'm sort of approachable. You know, I don't want people thinking, oh, he's too famous to talk to, because that would really stink. That wouldn't be fun. So do I feel famous? Absolutely not. And hopefully I never do. Okay, so here's a really good question. Will you be doing videos on any other topics, such as books, movies, or whatever takes your interest? Absolutely. You know, as I go forward, obviously I will start expanding my horizons a little bit and trying different things. Of course, I want to keep trying different things and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. And of course, most of all, just seeing what's fun for me. I already have done a couple of videos on different topics other than MLP. I did a whole review on Undertale, and that was a good step in the right direction. I think that video was actually pretty popular, and I think I might do that again for maybe other video games that come out that I'm really into and I really enjoy. So do keep your eyes peeled for more of those. However, as far as like movies, books, I don't read a lot of books, so maybe not books, but you know, obviously whatever takes my interest. If something really does take my interest, maybe I might do more rants. Who knows? Like, it just depends what's on my mind. And of course, this channel, it doesn't have to be about one specific thing, and I'm open to doing whatever I want to do. So whatever really tickles my fancy on a particular day, I might make a video about it. So we'll see. Okay, so this is a really good question, and this is one that I certainly want to answer. Do you plan on going to BRONYCON 2017 or any other conventions? So yes, for 2017, I want to go to Baltimore to see what's going on at BRONYCON. I absolutely want to take a part in that, you know, be part of panels, see people that I wouldn't really get a chance to see, and just enjoy the experience. I've never been to a convention in my life, so I really want to go. Obviously, I have to make sure I get together things like, how am I going to get there? Will I have enough money for it? There's a few things that get in the way, but for the most part, as of right now, I think I am scheduled to be at Baltimore in 2017. So if you guys are going, let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you there. Now, as far as any other conventions, I'm actually going to be attending Super Speedy CyderCon. However, not live. I'm going to be there via Skype. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a small little panel thing. I'm honestly not too sure what I'm going to be doing yet, but either way, I'm going to be there sort of live on camera through the interwebs, and you guys will be able to chat with me and stuff. So if you're going to that, then yeah, let me know in the comment section as well. I'd love to see what you guys are doing over there, so let me know about that. As far as other conventions though, it's just gonna be like on a case-by-case basis. We'll have to see. Obviously, it's very hard to sort of travel out, especially with school and other priorities at the same time. It's kind of hard just to get out of the house, go to like a completely different country and, you know, travel around. It's hard to do and it's expensive too, so we'll see. But for now, I'm going to BRONYCON 2017, that's the plan, and Super Speedy CyberCon I'm visiting online, so there we go. Hopefully that should be a lot of fun. Okay, so this next question is actually a very, very, very interesting question, and it's one that I was kind of hesitant to answer, but I think it's a good one, and a lot of you thumbed it up, so I guess I kind of have to at this point. But what is the worst part about the community? What is your least favorite part about the community? Now, this is a tough one. Obviously, I really enjoy this community, so to talk bad about it is kind of like a sin in my books. But I think if I had to pick one bad thing out of all of the other things, it's probably the drama. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, a lot of you may not, and of course, if you're not like too involved with the reviewing and analyst part of the community, you may not even hear about any of this. But there's a lot of drama that goes on in the background, and of course a lot of inner fighting, a lot of this and that. You get it more in the Skype groups and stuff, and honestly, it's just really annoying. I try not to get involved in it too often, and of course it's always a pain when you do, but it's kind of hard to ignore as well. There's a lot of drama in the community, and of course there's people who really enjoy the drama. They like to see the drama, and they may even make videos about it. And while that's fine, whatever, I don't mind it personally because I don't get involved too much, but it's just kind of annoying to always see that, and it's always kind of consistent. So if there's one thing I had to say about this community that I really didn't like, is the fact that there's a lot of drama. It's obviously very avoidable if you just don't stick your nose into it, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to ignore when it's like a lot of your friends that get involved in it. So yeah, that's probably my least favorite part. Okay, so this is a bit of another darker question, but this question asks, if the MLP fandom stopped, what are you gonna do next? So that's honestly an excellent question. As of right now, I think we're guaranteed like a few more seasons of the show. So for now, that's not really in my mind. It's not really something that is going to happen. However, eventually it will happen. The show will end and the community will die down. It's just bound to happen. It always happens with any show. So if that does happen, who knows? It really depends on where I am in my life, how old I am. If it happened, let's say like now, so let's pretend like it just happened now, I would probably like move back to gaming or something just to keep me busy, because that's what I used to do before this channel. So I might go back. I would probably go back to gaming. Or maybe just do other reviews, maybe do stuff for other communities, who knows? It's kind of hard to ask though, because it's not something that I, think about too much. Okay, so this is another pretty interesting question. So this question asks, how has university been like for you? And do you have any tips? So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm actually attending university as of right now. So a lot of you, I think, thought I was like in high school or maybe even past high school. It's kind of weird. Some of you guys think like I'm really old or I'm really young. Never kind of like at this right age at where I'm actually at. But either way, university, what's it been like for me? I think it's been okay. Obviously the workload is much larger and it's a lot harder than high school. So if you're going like out of high school, if you're someone who's in high school right now and you're looking towards university, you've got your sights set on post-secondary, just keep in mind it is a lot harder than anything you've experienced in high school. There's just a lot more work and it's just tougher. You're not there because you have to be there. You're there because you want to be there. So that's the big difference. So just try your hardest when you're there. It is hard. It's not easy anymore. Is it fun though? I don't know. The first year for me at least hasn't been that great. It's been kind of boring for the most part, probably because like we've been given a lot of work, but then again, like a lot of the work and a lot of the stuff we've been learning has been kind of general, not very specific to what I need to know and what I want to know. So that's been kind of annoying, but for the most part, it's been okay. I think it's about what I expected. And as far as any tips, I think I've got a few. One of the biggest things when it comes to university or college, some people call it university, some people call it college. Just if I say university, I kind of mean both, so just don't get it confused. But as far as a big tip, when it comes to textbooks, in my opinion, don't buy the textbooks. A lot of the times, and especially nowadays, you can get most of your textbooks, or at least what you need, online. And if you can't, then you may not even need it. Like some courses you will need a textbook and you will be using the textbook often and all the time. But for the most part, a lot of the textbooks that I bought, I don't think I even opened. And of course, they're very expensive too. So it's a lot of money, especially when you're spending a lot just to be at university or college. It's even more expensive to buy the textbooks. So only get the textbooks that you know you're absolutely gonna need, and also don't buy new. Try to find ways of buying them from people from previous years. It might sound like you're gonna get like some really like dusty old ragged book. Believe me, these people probably never touched their books either, so you might actually get a brand new book out of it for like a third of the cost. So definitely try to find people selling these textbooks for you, or just don't buy the textbooks at all. You may not even need it. And just going back to that last question, I didn't realize that there was actually a two-parter to this. So it is also asking, what are you planning on majoring in college, or what are you trying to get out of it? So I'm actually training to be an engineer, specifically a computer engineer in university right now. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to be doing. Hopefully that works out for me. Okay, so here's a pretty interesting question. Do you speak a second language? And the answer is simply no. Now, just to cushion this, I actually used to take French class back in, elementary school and a bit of high school. Now, I actually took it for about 8 years, so you'd think, hey, Ty, you may have actually picked up something, haven't you? You're probably like a French whiz. The answer is simply no. I can't speak French to save my life, and that's not trying to be humble. I'm not trying to say this just to be like, nice and sweet. Oh, I can't really speak French, but, and then I start going on in a tangent in perfect French. No, I literally cannot speak French. And it just sucks because after 8 years, you'd figure, hey, that many classes, you'd pick up something. It's just the way they teach French around here, it's horrible. It's just not the best way to teach the language, and you come out of it knowing some grammar rules and you're okay with that, but actually speaking it, oh, that's crazy. You couldn't possibly do that. So it's unfortunate, but no, I can't speak a second language. Okay, so here's a pretty good question. It's more of a negative one. I think I've saved the negative ones just instinctively for last, but either way, here's a really good question. How have you gotten over the hate from being in this fandom? Not gonna lie, there hasn't been a lot of hate. To be honest, almost every video that I post I've seen nothing but positivity. It's only very rarely where I get some really, really negative comments, really mean stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to ignore. I mean, at the same time though, the problem with that though is if people start posting like negative comments on a channel, for me, like I get a lot of positive stuff, and that's awesome, that's great, it's encouraging, it's motivating, and I feel better as a result. But whenever you get a negative comment, that sticks out. That's something different. It's something unique, but it sticks with you. Because if everyone's saying you're doing a great job, that's awesome. But if someone says, this sucked, this wasn't very good, I hate you, you're cancer, I've gotten that a lot, actually. But, if people say things like that, that's the kind of stuff that sticks with you. And you kind of think it over your head, maybe I am that, maybe I'm not very good. So those are the questions that you get a lot, but at the same time, you just have to ignore them. Obviously, these people don't really have much better to do or nothing better to do with their time than to go to your channel and leave these really stupid comments. Then, you can feel pretty good about that, knowing that you've got better things to do with yourself. But still, no, you get it sometimes, but you just have to ignore it. Obviously, you can't take it too much to heart. Obviously, when it comes to more of the actual proper criticism, if people are saying they don't like your video and here's why, take some of it to account. That's different. But I'm talking about the comments that are like, you're cancer, you suck, things like that. The typical short, like one sentence, really mean things that, it doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help you. It's not helping anybody. And for those, it's best just to ignore them. Okay, so here's a really good question. What do you do outside of YouTube? So obviously I don't just make YouTube videos all the time. If I did, I'd probably upload a little more often. But no, I do some other things outside of YouTube. Obviously, I'm still a student, so I go to school. I'm in actually now a second year of university. So that takes up a lot of my time. And I know a lot of people are always wondering like, hey Ty, when are the videos coming out? Why don't you have enough videos? You don't upload as often as other people. I'm a very busy person, especially during the school year. Right now it's summer, so I'm off. It's nice. I'm enjoying the sun, or the rain actually. But either way, no, I'm busy, right, with school and stuff, so I can't always upload as often. So that's one thing that I do outside of YouTube. Also, I just do other things. I play video games. I know I mentioned this earlier in another question. I play video games, absolutely love them, but I also enjoy playing basketball. It's my favorite sport, like, ever. I don't like any other sport more than basketball. I enjoy playing it, I enjoy watching it. It's an awesome sport, so I really do enjoy that as well. As far as other things, I don't really do too many other things consistently. Of course, I do like a bunch of other stuff, but nothing really consistently. I don't really have too many hobbies, oddly enough. YouTube does take up a good portion of my time, and of course, it's a reason why I enjoy it so much. It's a hobby for me. It's really fun, and it does take up a lot of my free time, so it's a good thing. It's a good hobby. Okay, so here's a pretty interesting question, and it asks, can you do something cool that most other people can't? Now, this is one that I was actually trying to think about. I don't really have like any special talent or any like really cool ability. Like I don't have like a double jointed arm or something that I can sort of do like something really wacky with. So as far as like something cool that most other people can't, I guess the best thing that I can do is I can dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim. I'll actually show a bit of a video here of me actually doing that a couple times just to show that I can actually do it. And now a lot of people like question, you know, oh, you're just lowering the rim and stuff. No, I'm actually pretty tall. I'm about 6'6", so I'm not actually like lowering the rim or anything. I'm just a pretty tall guy, so it's much easier for people like me, if you're taller, to actually dunk a basketball. But not a lot of people can do that, so it's always, you can always get a lot of oohs and ahs if you go to like a gym and you dunk a basketball. People are like, oh, you can dunk. So yeah, that's something that I can do that most other people can't. Alright, so here's a bit more of an easier question. Have you ever been to America, the land of opportunity? And if so, to where and how many times? So yeah, I have been to the States a couple of times actually. Certainly when I was younger, the family, we used to take trips down to Florida. We'd all get into a minivan and drive down for about 2 days. So that's what we used to do during like the March break or the spring break for the school year. So we always do that. So we'd always go to Florida. I think we've also been to Boston as well more recently. We did a trip where we went east, so it's like we went through Quebec and then we went down and we went to Boston. That was fun. I enjoyed that, so that was always cool. Of course though, it's obviously expensive to go traveling and stuff, so I haven't been to the States too often. I would love to see like the West Coast and stuff. That'd be always cool. I know I have some friends there too, so that would be really fun to see and meet some people that I wouldn't really get a chance to, so I'd love to see the West Coast. But for the most part, yeah, been to Florida and Boston. All right, and the last question, I kind of saved this one for last. It's kind of a weird one, but at the same time, it's kind of a fun one. So the question asks, do you have any scary ghost stories that happened to you in real life? Now, to be honest, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in the supernatural, and I don't believe in that sort of thing. I just don't. I'm a man of science. So for me, that just doesn't sort of click. Either way, this happened maybe about, it was certainly quite a while back, maybe like 5-6 years ago. Now, when I was a really young child, I did have a bit of an issue with sleepwalking, but as I grew older, it just completely like stopped. I didn't sleepwalk anymore, and everything was okay. But this was about 5 years ago. For some reason, I was like really tired one night. I was in my basement watching TV, really tired, and I didn't remember just going to bed. So I woke up, and I woke up like on the couch, because we had a couch near the TV, and I just sort of woke up, and I'm like, why am I down here? Because obviously I sleep in my own bedroom and I have a bed, not a couch. I don't sleep on a couch all the time. That'd be kind of weird. So I'm like, okay, why am I down here? And I'm like, did I go upstairs to sleep? Maybe not, maybe so. I don't know. Either way, so I kind of sat there for a while, being really lazy and stuff. It's really dark too. It's, you know, no lights on and whatnot. Either way. So I ended up getting up. I'm like, okay, I'll just go back to bed. I want to go to my own bed. It's more comfortable. So I did. I get up and I look across the basement and I see like this really dark figure. Now, it's not like it was just sort of like a shadow. It was like a pretty clear figure, like a human figure. And it just scared the living daylights out of me, or the living nightlights out of me. Although we didn't have any nightlights, that would have been even worse. But no, there was like this really dark figure, really clear to see too, and it looked human. It was just sort of standing there ominously way off in the background of the basement. And I'm like, hello? And nothing. Of course, there's no answer. Ghosts tend not to answer. I'm like, hi, are you, hello? And just nothing, right? Just not moving, nothing. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like spooked, I'm freaked out, of course. I'm like, you know, if something's gonna happen, I'm about to go like jiu-jitsu on all this. I'm gonna bring out all my old karate moves. Or not, probably. I didn't do well in karate, but either way. So I'm like really scared. I ended up just like running upstairs as fast as I could. And I went to my bed and I just sort of ignored it. I'm like, it never happened. But it totally did. I was totally awake. So yeah, I guess that's probably my best scary ghost story. Nothing really came out of it. It was just pretty creepy and spooky. And with that, that is it for the 20,000 subscriber question and answer special. So I just want to thank you guys, first of all, for submitting so many awesome questions. Not gonna lie, it was really tough to have to pick through all of these awesome, really good questions. So I do encourage you, if you did not hear your question being answered in some form or another, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will try my best to get back to you in text. That way you can get your question answered. And of course, you know, I don't want to miss out on anybody, but I can't always record all of this in video, all the questions in video, because it just takes too long. I know this was already long enough as it is, and like I had to take a short list of a short list as far as the questions go. So if you have any more questions, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will get back to you ASAP with a full written answer in text. Other than that though, I just have to thank you guys so much just for everything, you know, for subscribing, for watching my videos, for liking them, you know, even for disliking them and like letting me know what I need to improve on and stuff. All of that is absolutely helpful. So I really do appreciate just all of the support, all the love, and frankly, all the patience that you guys have showed over the past year and a half. It really does mean a lot to me, and I just can't appreciate you guys enough. I just want to take this time to make sure to let you guys know that I actually have some social media places where you guys can catch me outside of the show. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, DeviantArt, and Picardo TV, that way you can see all my posts about in real life, all my art, and my live streams respectively. You can all see those on those websites. So I do suggest if you want to chat with me outside of the show and whatnot, please go to those websites. I'm a little bit more open there. It's kind of hard to talk with you guys specifically through YouTube and the YouTube comments. It's just kind of awkward and hard to do. So if you want to really like have a real chat with me and stuff, Facebook is probably the best. DeviantArt always works too. And of course, Picardo, I do live streams. So if you want to chat with me live when I'm doing a live stream, please feel free to join in on one of those. But other than that, once again, thank you guys so much just for listening in. I wonder if you guys, like how many of you guys actually listened in all the way this far. And if you did, I really do appreciate that. I know it's a lot. Hopefully you treated it more like a podcast and just like did other things like draw or something in between. But nonetheless, I'm not going to keep you guys for any longer. Thank you so much for everything. Here's to another 10,000 subscribers and many more fond memories. And we'll see you all later. Take care, everybody.